see immediately looking to establish the jab. And
what is he in for this Saturday night?
A rude awakening for sure. He just doing what he have to do, trying to psych himself out for the fight and things like that, but
Lamont Roach isn't backing down. He knows what people are saying. Many think he's just another name on Tank Davis's hit list, another opponent who's going to be knocked out quickly before the fight even gets exciting. But Roach isn't bothered by that. He's walking into the Barclays Center on Saturday with one clear goal: to prove everyone wrong and show the world that he's not an easy pick for the so-called face of boxing. Roach believes that Tank Davis will have no choice but to dig deep into his entire skill set because, this time, the knockout won't come easily.
It's competition, and it can only be one winner. It can't be two winners. It can only be one winner, so it's either going to be you or me. And I'm going to get you before you get me.
Whoever does make the mistake is going to pay dearly.
And there's that hand speed.
You'll all see it on March 1st, Roach said, sending a clear message to everyone who thinks he won't last long against the powerful Tank Davis. Roach is not backing down from the challenge, and he's not afraid of Tank's impressive knockout record. In fact, Roach sounds like someone who sees something others don't, a weakness in Tank's game, a way to take advantage of his habits. Of course, not everyone is convinced by Roach's confidence. Critics are quick to remind him that Tank Davis isn't just a knockout specialist, he's a wrecking ball with an almost perfect record. While Roach might believe he's the one to figure out Tank's game, many argue he's never faced a fighter like him before.
No, I think Lamont Roach is a terrific fighter. He might be a little over his head with Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis is, to say the least, he's a beast. He really is. He's a tremendous fighter.
This isn't just another fight in a local gym. This is the biggest challenge of Roach's career, facing the most dangerous knockout artist in the division. History hasn't been kind to fighters who think they can outbox or overpower Tank Davis. Just look at Jamal Herring in 2019. Herring came close to putting Roach down, but Roach won the fight by unanimous decision. That fight alone raises questions about Roach's ability. If Herring could do that, what will happen when Tank, a fighter with the power of a freight train, starts unloading his punches? That's the doubt hanging over Roach's confidence.
I think he actually took this fight for the naysayers and all this and all the people talking shit about the fight. I think he actually took the fight because he know that I'm a dog, and he want to prove his skills against a dog. So I'm gonna show y'all what happens when two dogs get in the ring together. And
Did one, and while the power punches landed in the first 3 minutes.
Roach isn't letting the doubts affect him. He's focused on the job at hand. Moving up to the lightweight division from 130 pounds, he believes the added weight will work in his favor, giving him more power, strength, and endurance. When asked about his preparations, Roach said, "We're just working on getting stronger, getting faster. We have more room now. We don't need to lose more weight, so we have the space to do a lot more physically." He's making it clear that he's coming into this fight in the best shape of his life. But Roach isn't just relying on his physical improvements. He's also playing mind games. He sees potential weaknesses in Tank Davis's camp. For one, Calvin Ford, Tank's longtime trainer and the person who has been with him since the beginning, won't be in his corner on fight night. Roach sees this as a big deal. It's like taking the captain off a ship right before a storm, he said, and he knows that could be a crucial factor. Roach was asked if he thought Tank Davis's trainer Calvin Ford being absent would give him an advantage. "More than likely," Roach said. "I think it's a little strange to not have your lifetime trainer in your corner, especially for such a big fight. That could make a difference for him."
Roach and him back and forth battles and whatnot. It's going to be a pretty interesting fight, you know what I'm saying? Because Roach he come to fight. I think it's a great fight. Everybody talking all that stuff about, why Roach? Because he signed and took the fight, you know what I'm saying? And it's good for the community.
Roach has a point. As dominant as Tank is, he does have certain habits. He often starts slow, falls behind on the scorecards, and then relies on his powerful punch to turn things around. This strategy has worked for him in the past, but what happens if that big punch doesn't land clean? What if Roach, with his slick boxing skills, builds an early lead and forces Tank into a tough situation in the later rounds? That's the scenario Roach is counting on.
Garcia's the first one to try to land power punches, and he's doing.
"I'm training for the best version of Tank," Roach said. "I'm preparing for a fighter who won't have any distractions. I'm training for a beast, and if he's not a beast that night, it will show." Roach's confidence is clear, but there's more at stake here than just facing Tank Davis. Roach is also fighting against the expectations, the belief that he's simply a stepping stone. He's up against a sport that has already written his story. That's what makes this fight so interesting. If Roach is wrong, if he really is just another name on Tank's highlight reel, the critics will be quick to say, "I told you so." They'll argue that Roach was never on Tank's level and that his confidence was misplaced. They'll say Tank did what he always does, break his opponent down and finish the fight early.
Man, training camp's been great, man. I've been working my ass off. I've been putting myself in hell, putting myself in the fire. Also, for March 1st to come out victorious.
Lamont, hip-hop is real.
Now, one thing Garcia's good at is cutting off the ring, and he's doing that.
But if Roach is right, if he makes it through those early rounds, exposes Tank's flaws, and drags him into a real fight, it will change everything. Despite the odds, despite the doubts, Roach is confident that he has the answers. "I've been here before. The tables will turn, I'll tell you that," he said, showing no sign of hesitation. Maybe he's bluffing, or maybe he truly sees something the world hasn't noticed. But one thing is for sure, he's not coming to Brooklyn to lose. Roach's confidence isn't just his own. His father, Lamont Roach Jr., has been preparing for this moment his entire life, even if the world hasn't been paying attention. As he stands in his corner ahead of his son's biggest fight against the unbeaten knockout artist, Gervonta "Tank" Davis, the memories flood back. The late nights in the gym, the long drives to amateur tournaments, the sacrifices. But most of all, he remembers the lessons from one man, Bernard Roach. Bernard wasn't just a mentor, he was family, the person who helped build a boxing legacy that still stands strong today. And as Roach Sr. steps into Brooklyn's Barclays Center, the place where dreams are made or shattered, he knows Bernard is watching. "We saw it, we believed it, we achieved it," Roach Sr. says, his voice filled with both pride and sadness. Bernard Roach was a very good man.
Fight him like a dog, and he said, "I'm gonna try to knock him out. If he talking about retiring, I'm gonna try to retire his ass early." A lot of people think that that's the wrong game plan. I agree. I don't think it's gonna work, but
Say that Garcia had to take advantage of Davis's slow starts, whether deliberate or...
For Lamont Roach Sr., this fight isn't just about his son stepping into the ring. It's the result of years of hard work and a chance to prove that Lamont Jr. is more than just an underdog, more than just another name on Tank Davis's record. While the world may see this as another easy win for Tank, another knockout to add to his highlight reel, the Roach camp believes things will be different this time. Roach Sr. carries the memory of his mentor Bernard Roach with him every day. Although Bernard passed away in 2017, his spirit is felt in every moment. His teachings, wisdom, and relentless drive to create champions live on in the fighters he worked with. Now, as Lamont Jr. prepares to face one of the hardest punchers in boxing, Roach Sr. is relying on those lessons more than ever. "He's with me. His spirit is here," Roach Sr. says. He would be so excited for this moment, but he's with me. You see little signs, little reminders. One of those reminders came in 2023 when Lamont Jr. won the WBA junior lightweight title in a dramatic final round victory over Hector Luis Garcia. With the fight on the line, Roach Jr. scored a knockdown that secured his win. Roach Sr. believes Bernard's presence was with them at that moment. "In the last round of that championship fight, I lifted up my shirt with Bernard's picture on it," Roach Sr. recalls. "He is watching. This one is for him." And then there was the feeling, the voice he couldn't shake. "I just had a funny feeling that something was going on." I think that was him telling us,
It'd be like, I don't know, it'd be little clips, like you see how like man him was talking and then somebody else talked like his crew. That's what get me up. Like that's what make me like, I always want to prove to somebody that I'm like they.
One thing they were worried about.
Roach knows that winning this fight will change his life and his family's life drastically for the better. It's a simple yet powerful statement. He's not just fighting for himself, he's fighting for his family, his city, and the respect he feels has been denied to him. Beating Tank Davis would be a career-defining moment, taking him from being a solid champion to becoming a household name. In Camp Roach, he's pushing himself harder than ever. His sparring partners have been carefully chosen to mimic Tank's style as closely as possible. They're throwing everything at him: speed, power, aggression. And Roach is holding his own. The focus has been on movement, defense, and keeping the fight in the center of the ring. He knows that standing still against Tank is a recipe for disaster, so he's training to stay elusive while still landing sharp counters. His father, Lamont Roach Jr., has played a huge role in keeping Roach mentally focused. Roach Sr. is a no-nonsense trainer who doesn't allow outside distractions to interfere with their work. Every training session is about preparing and improving, not worrying about what the media or fans are saying. It's all about staying grounded and sticking to the plan. Psychologically, Roach knows that he has to stay in Tank's face from the very first bell. Davis thrives when opponents show fear or hesitation, and Roach is determined not to give him that satisfaction.
I'm not looking at Lamont the way that everybody else look at Lamont. Like, I know Lamont is a really good fighter. I'm not. This ain't no Frank Martin. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
It's a real good fight.
Take yourselves at all time.
And he just ducked underneath that left hook, but
The plan for Roach is simple. Stay calm, stay sharp, and show Davis that he's not intimidated. If Roach can do that, he has a real chance at breaking down the defenses that Davis usually puts up around his opponents. Meanwhile, Tank Davis has been stirring up some confusion with his unpredictable behavior. Over the past few months, the Baltimore fighter has made some surprising comments about his career, leaving his fans uncertain about what's going on. It all started on Christmas Eve, when Davis made a shocking announcement that left the boxing world in a state of confusion. He claimed, out of nowhere, that his highly anticipated fight with Roach, which fans had been eagerly waiting for, had been canceled. There was no explanation, no follow-up, just a social media post that left everyone scratching their heads.
Talk to me about the mental preparation going to this fight with Lamont. Fans, they kind of sleeping on Lamont, but you know Lamont's fighting style. Y'all fought.
Yeah, people don't know him, but Lamont is a good fighter. Like, he ain't no slouch. Like, I fought him in the amateurs. Like,
naturally, fans quickly started to speculate that this could be another one of Tank Davis's famous meltdowns. His unpredictable statements are nothing new, but this time it felt different. The timing seemed off, and there was no support from his team or anyone else. It seemed like just another instance of Davis causing trouble for himself. But just when it looked like the fight might fall apart, Lamont Roach and his father, Lamont Sr., stepped in to clear up the confusion. They made statements to reassure fans that the fight was still set for its original date. The situation could have easily spiraled into chaos, but both fighters managed to stay focused on their upcoming showdown. Despite the brief uncertainty, the momentum didn't slow down, and now both Roach and Davis are fully committed to their March 1st, 2025 fight at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. More conversations planned, but till then, let's support whatever we can. Bridge.
There's a rematch clause, people, so get ready for 2 fights. But, yes, and after I beat him the second time, I probably would ask the WBA to let me go up to 140 and fight Raya.
guard, left hook by Garcia. Drama already in Sin City after a slow start.
Lamont Roach, for his part, was just as confused as everyone else when the rumors about the fight being canceled started to spread. While fans on social media were panicking, Roach didn't get caught up in all the drama. During a recent Q&A session on his YouTube channel, he calmly addressed the situation. A fan directly asked him why people were saying the fight was canceled or that he had pulled out. Roach smiled, acknowledged the question, and then explained his side of things. Gervonta Davis is like a wild card, Roach said. You never know what he's going to do next. The 29-year-old fighter from Washington admitted that Davis's unpredictability is something he's had to learn to handle over the years. He wasn't bothered by the rumors or the confusion. Instead, he's learned to stay focused on what he can control.
Yeah, man, I mean, it's going to go. Tank going to be losing the first 3 rounds. Then he's going to download the data. Then he going to knock this dude out in round 7 or 8. Then he going to do the backflip. Then Jim Gray's going to get in the ring, or Caleb plants a wife and say, who do you want next? And Tank's going to say, I want all those guys. And they're going to go to the press conference.
Lamont Roach has been through a lot in his own career, and he's not going to let Gervonta Davis's eccentric behavior throw him off track. Roach knows Davis well by now and understands that Tank is his own person. His decisions often don't make sense to outsiders, whether it's an emotional tweet or a mysterious post. Davis keeps people guessing about his next move. However, Roach isn't bothered by the mental games Davis plays with the boxing world. For Roach, it's business as usual. He has his own fight to focus on, and nothing is going to distract him from that goal. Roach knows that the mental side of boxing is just as important as the physical training, and he's making sure his mind is sharp as he prepares for the biggest challenge of his life. Roach, I don't let that stuff affect me, Roach said. making it clear he won't get caught up in the drama or rumors. Instead, he's using all his energy to get ready for what could be the fight of his career. Roach understands that beating Davis would change everything for him: his career, his life, and his legacy. But for now, he's staying focused on the prize and letting all the noise from the outside fade away.
No one's been able to solve Tank Davis. What do you need to do together with you and your team and obviously your son to score that victory?
We got a game plan. We're going to execute it, and we're going to get the
Move that head, bob and weave, bob and weave.
Oh, right uppercut from Garcia. Let's see if Garcia, what he does with his right hand and why that left hand is...
As the countdown to their big fight in Brooklyn continues, it's clear that Lamont Roach is fully focused and ready. His training camp is already in full swing, and he's preparing for Gervonta Davis in the most professional way possible. Davis, for his part, looks sharp and in top form, with his weight already close to where it needs to be for the fight. While other fighters like Kesson Davis often seem to carry extra weight during training camp, Tank Davis is staying lean and prepared. Kesson often looks more like a welterweight before cutting down to 135 pounds, but Tank doesn't rely on drastic weight cuts to get an edge. He's a natural lightweight, not someone who is trying to game the system with last-minute weight loss.
It's gonna be a party on your floor.
I'm gonna let y'all know, son. His father was up here shaking on the what's the name? He was shaking on the
Thank everybody that played a part in it. My team, Roberto Diaz, Gary Jonas.
On my kids, he was shaking on this hand. On my kids, he was shaking. How you gonna say his cap? And
it gotta be.
You gonna say his cap?
A few shots, but Gervonta Davis came in with that beautiful over.
Interestingly, Tank Davis's longtime trainer Calvin Ford hasn't been seen much lately, sparking rumors that the two might have parted ways. Ford has been a key figure in Tank's career for years, so his absence hasn't gone unnoticed by fans and boxing insiders. Leonard Ellerbe, who knows Davis well, shared his thoughts on the situation during a conversation on the laboratory with Plazo. He reflected on Tank's recent announcement about retiring after 3 more fights and said he could understand where Tank was coming from. "I can understand where he's coming from," Ellerbe said. "Things are different when you have kids. It changes your life. It completely changes your life."
My whole family is from DC. My whole family, like my entire family.
Don't bring them. Don't bring them.
For what?
Don't bring them. I'm telling you.
They gonna celebrate with me.
Don't bring them.
It's gonna be a party on your floor.
I'm gonna let y'all know, son. His father was up here shaking on the what's the name? He was shaking on the
Pops.
On my kids.
Leonard Ellerbe also highlighted how Tank Davis's perspective has changed over the past 6 or 7 years. He explained that Tank sees things differently now. "If that's what he said, that he's retiring, then we all heard him," Ellerbe said. "It's never good enough what you do, and sometimes that can be frustrating." Ellerbe also touched on the pressure that comes from fans and the constant demand for more fights, which can be overwhelming. "There's more to life than just what you do for a living," he said. "You have to respect the fans who pay their money to see you fight, but you also have a life outside of boxing. They want you to keep going, but they don't always care about your health."
What?
Who said that? You said what? You said what? Yeah, that's why I've been waiting for the niggas to talk. How much you want back? How much you want to back? Because I came up here alone. How much y'all want back? How much you want back? Just call it out. Huh? 100? That's a...
Caught by Garcia. Drama already in Sin City after a slow starting round.
The future looks promising for Tank Davis, but it's also filled with tough competitors hot on his heels. Fighters like Andy Cruz, Edwin De Los Santos, and Kesson Davis are all aiming for his spot, and it's possible Tank feels the pressure. These are not easy matchups, and Tank knows that. While he may be confident in his ability to beat them, he also understands that these fights will be demanding. At this point in his career, Tank might not be eager to put in the intense effort needed for such high-stakes battles. Leonard Ellerbe also weighed in on the harsh reality of boxing, pointing out how the sport can take a serious toll on a fighter's long-term health.
When the people who I fight, when they start talking, that's when y'all get them. I'ma beat his ass.
He can't do shit with
for real. So y'all better be quiet.
I don't give a fuck if y'all was quiet. If y'all was loud.
He got the whole hood over there.
Like twisted up. I don't give a fuck.
Caught by Garcia. Drama already in Sin City after a slow starting round.
Boxing is a tough and often brutal sport. Many fighters, especially those from earlier generations, have faced exploitation and dealt with serious health problems that have left lasting effects. Leonard Ellerbe understands the mindset that fighters come into the sport, make their mark, and then walk away. He also acknowledged that everyone has different opinions and goals in life. With Tank Davis's retirement announcement hanging over everything, the big question is whether it will truly be permanent. Ellerbe hinted that Tank might not be done for good. Given how popular Davis is and the kind of money he can generate, it would be hard to ignore the possibility of a return. If the right offer comes along in the next 6 to 12 months, it wouldn't be surprising to see Tank back in the ring. A big payday, especially if the opponent is someone high-profile enough, could easily pull him back for another fight.
Why was it so easy when he fought Frank Martin?
Frank Martin was inexperienced and nervous. You know, it is what it is. It's going to be a different fight when I'm in there. He's going to be a different fighter when he's fighting me.
What's your game plan?
Whoop his ass. I'm always looking for a knockout. No matter what, I'm always prepared for 12 rounds. But I'm always looking for a knockout, and if I get the chance, I'm going to try to knock his head off.
Premier Boxing Champions recently released a behind-the-scenes video showing Tank Davis's preparation for his upcoming fight, titled Gloves Off. In the video, Davis opens up about his biggest fear: losing. "I just don't want to look bad on fight night," Davis admitted. "My biggest fear is being embarrassed, especially in front of all these people worldwide. Then, you become a meme. I ain't got time for that. I'm not trying to go out there and get my butt kicked. I don't want to be embarrassed." This is a revealing moment from one of the most dangerous fighters in the sport. People often assume boxers are fearless, but for Tank Davis, it's the fear of embarrassment that drives him to greatness.
Yeah, man, I mean, it's going to go. Tank going to be losing the first 3 rounds. Then he's going to download the data. Then he going to knock this dude out in round 7 or 8. Then he going to do the backflip. Then Jim Gray's going to get in the ring, or Caleb Plant's wife.
And he's doing that fairly well. And boy, a more aggressive.
Despite Lamont Roach's impressive career, he heads into this fight as a huge underdog. Gervonta Davis, undefeated with a record of 30-0 and an incredible 28 knockouts, has earned a reputation as one of the biggest stars in boxing and one of the hardest hitters in the sport. However, Roach isn't backing down. He sees this fight as his chance to shock the world. "Mentally, I've got a chip on my shoulder," he said. "It's just like the Hector fight. You all got me messed up. Count me out if you want, but you're all going to see." Roach knows that most people aren't giving him much of a chance against Davis, but that only pushes him to work harder. What do you think? Share your thoughts below and don't forget to subscribe for more updates.